Welcome everyone. Today Selma and I are going to explain the development and the hows and whys of our integrated education theories. Teaching education for many years has worked out to be successful, but the demands of an ever-changing society today, it is now a different world. Students now do not see the connections among teaching the curriculum in separate subjects such as maths, science, history and English. Today we need a holistic way to present the information to the students so they can apply it to their everyday lives. We can do this by integrating the curriculum. Fogarty has defined a model that explains integration of curriculum in a 10 model theory, which has three main categories, which you can see down below in the diagram. The three categories are interdisciplinary, multidisciplinary, interdisciplinary, and transdisciplinary. Firstly, we're going to discuss the first part of Fogarty's theory, which is interdisciplinary. This is based on three different parts: the fragmented, connected, and nested. These aspects are based on approaches used in the past. The fragmented model is the traditional way of sorting out teaching of the curriculum, dictating separate subjects as separate identities. So we only focus on one subject and one learning experience at a time. Traditionally, the single subjects were maths, science, language arts, and each of these were in a pure entity. This is when you would hear the teacher say, put your maths books away and get your science journals out. This approach makes a clear and discrete view of the subject, but connections are less clear. At the very most, only topics from two areas would be occasionally related intentionally by the teacher. We cannot sit back and expect that students in time will see how things all fit together. The reality is that most of the students will learn only what we teach them. If we teach them separation and discontinuity, that is probably all they will learn. The theory behind the fragmented model is revolved around Piaget's developmental theory. Piaget developed a theory that all children go through 4 stages of development. Some of his research led to the belief that every interaction establishes cognitive structure in the children. This is especially important in the classroom environment. The curriculum now is based on the development stages of children and evident in the Australian curriculum. Teaching students in their stage of development would employ efficient questioning about characterising concrete objects, especially in a grade 1 level. Teachers do benefit knowing what level their student is at, and this will help you decide how to teach accordingly as well. Let us take Piaget's concrete operational stage, this is between the ages of 7 to 11, and link it to maths grade level 1. At this stage, the children can represent ideas and events more so than pre-primary children. However, their rule of thinking is still very basic, and they usually operate at an unconscious level. Children generally know if nothing is added or taken away, the amount stays the same. Children can take these rules and apply them to amounts of liquid conversion too. This mainly happens because the children base their decisions on objects. Being able to present maths in a concrete object way or abstract enables them to concentrate more on the objects. Even now in grade 1, I am still using objects to explain addition and subtraction. Piaget's theory is still present in today's learning and can be incorporated into the classroom in many ways. The approach for grade 1 is to be able to create meaningful concrete levels of understanding and thinking. Children start with this concrete representation, which leads them to finally move from this level to an abstract way of thinking. Then they are able to exclusively use math symbols to solve a problem like a minus or an addition sign. This is also a content descriptor for grade 1 maths, to be able to represent and solve simple addition and subtraction problems using a range of strategies, including counting on, partitioning and rearranging parts. Research has shown that students who start with concrete material do develop more of an understanding of representations and understand maths concepts more. Piaget has been criticised for underestimating children's knowledge, and skills can be sourced from other experiences. Piaget also did not take into account considerations such as culture, disabilities, socioeconomic, and family circumstances into his theory. According to Piaget's theories, teaching pedagogy is best done by explicit teaching, keeping in mind knowing the curriculum you are teaching and how you are teaching it. This directly lies with the development of the child. However, do all the children learn at the same time? Somewhere and I suggest no. Even today, through explicit teaching is used in a lot in grade 1 level, Piaget suggests to keeping your instructions short and to provide a range of experiences. According to Fogarty's 10 models to integrate curriculum, the shared model brings two distinct disciplines together into one focused image. This is a significant way in the 21st century to help make learning meaningful for the students. The shared model allows teachers to use overlapping concepts, which involves them to teach two disciplines that are similar concepts and skills across subjects. This is called multidisciplinary. This allows teachers to plan lessons by sharing similar concepts, bringing two disciplines together to encourage children to make connections, which significantly helps them in their learning. For instance, a teacher could use a shared model to use the same concept of measuring in both mathematics and science. Both mathematics, science, and teachers could share ideas and commonalities between two disciplines to teach students of the concept of measurement. This allows students to think about the concepts the two units share, which encourages them to make connections with other units, sharing the same concepts as well as making connections to the real world. This is a perfect example of using the STEM integrated approach within the classroom by integrating science, technology, engineering, and mathematics to allow students to successfully develop decision-making and effective and global citizenship, which is a vital skill to have in the 21st century. Using STEM approach in schools gives the student the capability to make connections with the real world, which gives them a more meaningful learning experience. This is evident that using the shared model to integrate curriculum in the school will allow students to make connections between units and understand how the same concepts in science and mathematics is involved in the real world. Measuring could be used in both science lessons and experiments as well as mathematics to understand volume and capacity. The students will be able to understand the same concept of measuring in both science and mathematics lessons. Using measuring as a focus concept will help the students understand the similarities of the two subjects as well as their understanding of how mathematical and science concepts are used in their daily lives. For example, a Year 2 science and a mathematics teacher could organise lessons using the same shared concept of measuring. The mathematics teacher could teach and introduce the topic of measuring and comparing lengths and capacities of objects using informal units such as ruler, pencil, and pencil case. The teacher could also give examples of what other things the student could measure, which will enhance their critical thinking skills. This will give students a deeper understanding of how to measure objects. However, the science teacher could use the same shared concept of measuring to measure ingredients for a science experiment, such as oblak, to investigate the effects of mixing materials together. Conducting a science experiment such as oblak to measure the ingredients will allow students to use their understanding of the same concept from mathematics to successfully conduct the science experiment. Collaborative learning is a significant skill to have in the 21st century, as it allows students to understand more about themselves and their own emotions, values, and also to be able to establish and maintain positive relationships as young Australians. Studies have stated that collaborative learning allows students to work together cooperatively to achieve shared learning goals as well as enhancing critical thinking skills. Not only does collaborative learning benefit students in their learning when they're understanding the importance of making connections and the same concepts through different units, it also establishes a positive atmosphere for modelling and understanding diversity among staff. This is also links to the shared model by teachers working collaboratively together to create lessons focusing on one concept, which could be integrated through different subjects such as science and maths. The shared model of integration links to the theorist Vygotsky, the concept of zone of proximal development, where he believed that individuals learn best when working collaboratively together. He also believed that students learn best when they are exposed to interesting and culturally meaningful learning tasks that are more difficult when they are working alone, such that they have to work collaboratively, work with their peers, and need assistance from the teacher in order to successfully complete the task. This gives the learner the ability to be able to individually complete similar tasks next time. Using the shared model from Fogarty's 10 models to integrate curriculum allows students to have a clear understanding of how to measure objects with the collaboration of the peers, so they are able to successfully use the same concept of measuring in science when learning about matter, solid and liquid. According to the Australian curriculum, students are expected to develop personal and social capabilities as they learn to work with others, as well as learn to understand themselves, which assists them in developing leadership skills. Thank you so much for joining us with our presentation. That's the end of it. We are going to be staying around for half an hour or so, so please, if you have any questions or comments, please come and see us and we'll chat to you then. On behalf of Sam and myself, thank you very much.